All right, folks, how we doing? I told you guys I was going to end up watching Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I was going to give you my full review. Figured since that was not going to be something I usually do on the channel, we do it on a walk and talk. And I'm going to warn you, spoiler full. So if you haven't seen the movie, or you're intending to see the movie, maybe you want to shut this live stream down, wait to watch it, and then check this out. So, first of all, really good film. Let me repeat that. Really, really good film. Something that, caught me off guard because he found a way to surprise me, especially the way the film was advertised to people. How was the film advertised to people? Well, it was talked about that it would be, the backdrop of the Manson killings, and obviously Sharon Tate, Margaret Robbie, and although she definitely was a focal point, it was kind of like a secondary thing, right? Now, again, there are going to be spoilers in here, so I'm warning you. But one of the things that you can really look out for, number one, he did a really great job with foreshadowing. The dialogue was crisp. We're talking about a 2-hour and 45-minute movie that actually kind of turns out not to be about the Manson cult, as in, I don't think you hear the word Manson once in the entire picture, but more about the cult of Hollywood. And when I say the cult of Hollywood, I'm not talking about esoteric stuff. I'm not talking about rituals. I'm not talking about power. I'm talking about the need for attention, the need to be accepted, transitioning from a nobody into a star, and then a transition from a leading star into a has-been. And they did a great job. Just an awesome job on that front. Let me get some of the things I didn't like about the picture out of the way. Tarantino's obsession with feet has got to go. It's got to go, folks. I'm not a foot guy in the first place, especially in a sexual manner. And the foot fetish stuff in the movie, I could have done without. What do I mean? Well, there are several scenes that the focus is 100% on feet. I'll give you a couple examples. When Sharon Tate goes to watch her own movie, and that's an interesting scene I'm going to do a breakdown of, she ends up putting her feet up, and they're bare, and they're obviously being promoted by Tarantino fetish-wise. Flick off, thank you so much. How fast do you walk? You always look like you're moving so fast. I'm not moving that fast, although people have told me I am a fast walker, just like I am sometimes a fast talker. So anyway, Margaret Robbie, her feet. Then later on, one of the main Manson girl characters, who I guess you could say it like this. Brad Pitt is the nexus point, Cliff Booth, the Rick Dalton stuntman, where the two paths really cross, okay? So you've kind of got these hippie girls in the background. Again, it's never mentioned. Sorry, baby. Oh, yeah, she's friendly. Okay. Yeah. We got a dog moment here. Come on, girl. We're going to finish it up. You have a great night. Come on. So anyway, you have that. And so again, no talk of the actual Manson family in this thing. But obviously it is the Manson family. They use their real names, too. So Tex is Tex, if anybody's familiar with the case. And really it's a lead up, okay, through the whole thing to the final act, which everybody feels is going to be the Manson murders, the Sharon Tate killings, which, there's a million different theories about. There's a new book I've talked about called Manson's relationship to not only law enforcement and the FBI, but even the CIA. My goodness, we dropped off there, but we're back. We're back. No, we are back. So back to the movie. Like I said, a movie more about the cult of Hollywood and acceptance than the Manson murders ever were, and that cult. So it is kind of a buddy comedy, and I would say it goes a good 2 hours plus before you even get to the third act on this thing, where they kind of play up the Manson family a little bit more. There is a scene where Brad Pitt's character goes to the Spawn Ranch where a bunch of the Manson family's there. Charlie Manson's never even named, really. They say Charlie a couple times. He gives no orders. He's got one cutscene. So he did this really in a minimalist way. I didn't get through all the feet scene that I didn't like, as I, was interrupted by dogs and all that other stuff. But he jams the foot fetish stuff in there. When Brad Pitt picks up one of the Manson family girls, there's a focus on her feet while they're talking actually about whether she was of age or not. And I don't want to say there was like a big pedophilia vibe, but there were definitely two scenes in it that caught my attention. For instance, Brad Pitt is offered a blowjob by this girl, and he wants to ID her because he doesn't believe she's 18. So that was on the positive front. On the negative front, possibly, is there's kind of an extended section where there's this young child actress, and she's talking to the Leo DiCaprio character. And at one point he asks her if she's 12, and she's like, I'm foreshadowing in this movie. From the very, very opening scenes, and a lot of misdirection, by the way, but you look at the opening scenes and how this is cut. He cut it in so many different film aspect ratios, too. What do I mean? So, standard pictures, usually 16:9. There are some people that might prefer 14:9, and we've seen that before. But they also do 4:3 a lot, and throughout the movie, they do that. They also have a narrator in the film, sort of. So, I think it's in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, and all of a sudden you have what you figure is some kind of a narrator that's going to revisit the game, but it's in one quick shot. You later learn that it's Kurt Russell who plays a bit role in this thing. And then towards the end, he kind of sets up, what you think is going to be, the big payoff, the Tate House murders, if you will. And I'll leave the third act for everybody to go watch, but it ended up being quite the surprise to me. And I had predicted that this thing was going to be a bloodbath, was going to be a gore fest, especially in the third act, in that final round of scenes. And it turns out that, although some of that's true, there's definitely some gore. It was unexpected. It was done well, and I really did enjoy it. The movie ends up being like a feel-good movie of the year, rather than coming out with like a gut-wrenching feeling, I guess. Again, Tarantino and his foot fetish stuff, I could do without that. There's also a scene in on the Spawn Ranch where all of them are barefoot, and again, feet is a focus, and I'm not a focus on feet. However, some of the stuff I really did like. They shot around a lot of old cars, what seemed to be old roads in Hollywood. And if anybody's actually been in the Hollywood Hills like I have, they did a great job. Those are windy roads. They gave you that feeling. They gave you the feeling of the era. It was really, really well done. And now to speak to that cult of Hollywood that I'm talking about. The main character, obviously, Rick Dalton, who's fictitious, by the way, and is kind of like an archetype of many different actors. He's come to grips with the fact that he's getting older. He's no longer a leading man. They're playing him as quote-unquote the heavy. So in other words, he's the bad guy in a lot of these pilot series, so that, the next up-and-coming actor will look like they took out, a movie star, and they can promote him as a movie star. And through the film, it kind of progresses to where he becomes an actual actor a little bit. And he cares about his craft more and kind of comes to terms with these things. Again, really odd. And as he's got to get rid of his partner, Brad Pitt, who's been with him for years and years as a stuntman. Growing up, growing old, feeling less important. That's definitely a theme there. But then on the other side of the cult of Hollywood, there's a scene with Sharon Tate, aka Margaret Robbie, where she's got a movie out, and remember, she was married to Roman Polanski. Polanski's home is where the incident took place. And she goes to the movie theater, she's about to pay, and then she asks the ticket girl, what if I'm in the movie? and there's a little bit of a conversation there, and she's kind of, I don't know, looking for a little bit of recognition, for a little bit of fame. And then she's pulled into the theater by the guy that runs the place. And really the focus of it is her enjoyment of people enjoying her performance around her. In other words, how she's made to feel because of the way other people feel about her on screen and that positivity. So, you know, aside from another bunch of other wacky actor types, director types in this movie, I thought that that was a real undertone theme. And I'm recommending it to everybody. I think that anybody can handle it. Like I said, big surprise at the end, no matter what. Sorry, we're over at the baseball field. No matter what you know about the Manson murders, because it's not about the Manson murders. It really wasn't. And even though they're building you up, and even right before the end of that third act, I forget what song it was, but they play a song basically saying your time's up. Your time is up, and it's one of those montage scenes where you figure all these characters they're showing you are about to get the business. And again, I'm not going to ruin that much of it, but I'd say it's one of his best. And Tarantino has, you know, been pretty hardcore with language and doing what he wants. People have been critical of him, for instance, of using the N-bomb too much, and I don't think there's one N-bomb in this one. Which, to me, as long as it goes with the story, it goes with the story. If you go all the way back to Pulp Fiction, you know, his directorial masterpiece, in my opinion, not that Reservoir Dogs isn't great, it is, but if you go back to that, he plays a bit role himself where he helps to get rid of a body for Vincent and the Samuel L. Jackson character. And what is it? It's dead N-bomb storage. And he drops the N-bomb probably 5 or 6 times in that scene alone. I don't know that you get away with that in 2019. And don't get me wrong, even then, he was kind of smart enough to play it off, that when he was talking about his wife coming home to that, his wife looks like a black woman in the film. So, you know, from Pulp Fiction to this, I really like this. I think this is way better than The Hateful Eight. I think it's got a ton of surprises, from a fight scene with somebody playing Bruce Lee, you know, the Bruce Lee characters in there. It was enjoyable, and it really was a buddy comedy. And the end harkens more towards Inglourious Bastards, and I was laughing my ass off at the end. And that is not what I thought I was going to be doing. I thought I was going to be cringing, or it was going to be hard to look at the screen, or I was going to be disappointed that the characters that I'd you know, just really grown to like over the last 2+ hours, you know, were going to be taken from me. And I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but I am going to say that it is full of surprises and an enjoyable film. Guys, this isn't what I usually do on the Walk and Talks. We all know it. But I really wanted to get out, check this movie out, give a review firsthand to all of you. So if you enjoyed this video, thumbs it up, share it. We'll be back on the Epstein grind probably later this evening, to be quite honest with you. I don't think I'm done with videos. And we got a couple of great interviews coming up later this week and next week. I'm going to have, I think her name is Whitney Webb. I hope I'm not mispronouncing it, but she's done that great piece on Roy Cohn, Epstein, and really the origins of this network over at Mint Press. So look for that next week. And a lot of people in my 40th birthday Ask Me Anything were asking me about the Finders and what I knew about that cult. So I buckled down. I checked out Derek Brose's work from the Conscious Resistance on the Finders, and he did amazing work. It was really riveting. I'm going to look into some other stuff that I can go over with Derek, but I'm going to also be having him on, I believe, later in the week to go after that. So, hey, we're doing real news here. We're doing movie reviews. And guys, like I said, I've got an exciting new weekly broadcast that's probably going to be launching within a month or so. And you're going to be able to find it 2 places. You're going to be able to find it on my channel, but every other week it'll be on another channel. I'm not going to tell you what that channel is, but it should be really cool. And hopefully it's going to bring in more and more people to this type of information that may not search it out, that may not be aware of it, because that's what we're trying to do here, right? we are trying to expand this information to many other people so they can get beyond the left-right paradigm and into a thing called right and wrong. So exciting stuff. We'll see you on the flip side, guys. Thanks for joining me.